Hello, in this lesson, can we learn how to enlarge figures with a negative scale factor? So, in this case, for example, if you are told to enlarge with a negative scale factor from the origin, you are given a triangle like this, triangle ABC, as vertices 2, 1, 4, 1, and 2, 3. Then let's go to B first. You are not enlarge triangle ABC by scale factor -2 from the origin. This is how we go about it. I've copied the original coordinates of the triangle here, and we are already given the scale factor in this B where we are told is -2, and it is from the origin. So I can copy them here. I say this is the center of rotation which we are told is origin, and of course the origin means 0, 0. And then from there, you are also given the scale factor, which is -2. So I can just call it K. So to get the coordinates of the new enlarged triangle, for example, A, then B, and then C, is very simple. We need to apply this formula here, K into XY, which is equals to K into X when I open the brackets here, then comma again K into Y when I open the brackets in short, meaning I take all the coordinates of X from here, which is that X, this one, and this one. I multiply by the scale factor, which in our case is -2, and then I repeat the same for the Y coordinates, in this case this one, this one, this one. Then I multiply them with the K, which is still -2. So we can do that, and then we put the new coordinates of the enlarged triangle here. So can we start with the first one? We have X is 2, but we know our scale factor is -2. So -2 multiplied by 2 will be -4, like this. Then we go to the Y one. So it will be -2 by 1, which will be -2. Then we go to B, we repeat the same. Now we have M, but now multiplied by -2, which will be -8. And then we go again, -2 by 1, which will be -2. And finally, we do that for C, where we have -2 by 2, which is -4. And then again, we have -2 by 3, which is -6. And there you have the new coordinates of the new enlarged triangle. The question here was asking, write down the coordinates of A, B, and C. We already have them here. These ones of the enlarged triangle. And then on A, you are told to plot the triangle ABC. So we can plot it and actually plot the enlarged one, and we compare to see if it is actually bigger than this one, because our scale factor was an integer, though it was negative. So we come to this grid here, and we create, and we start with the original triangle, which is 2, 1. We have 2, 1. If I plot it here, I'll have 2 somewhere there, and then I go to 4, 1, 4, 1 somewhere there, which is B, and then we have C, 2, 3, 2 and 3 somewhere there, and that becomes our original triangle. But since we have also the coordinates of the enlarged one, we can also plot it as C. So the first enlarged is -4, -2, but before we do so, actually we can first plot the center of enlargement, which was 0, 0 somewhere there, and then we plot the enlarged one. So the enlarged one, the first one is -4, -2. So -4, -2 somewhere there, then becomes the enlarged, then B is -8, -2. So -8, -2 somewhere there, and then the last one is -4, -6, -4, -6 somewhere there, and that becomes our enlarged triangle. As you can see, it's bigger than the original one because the scale factor was an integer, though it was negative. And the reason why it was, of course, it was negative, that's why you can see the diagram, the new triangle is flipped 180 degrees to be put on the negative scale factor, where the x-axis scale is negative and also the y-axis scale is also negative. So can we try another example? Well, in this second example, you are told a triangle MBC has vertices 1, 1, 3, 1, 1, 4. Then the triangle is enlarged by scale factor -3 from the center to 0. So, of course, plot the triangle MBC, plot the center of enlargement, then draw the image of triangle MBC. So we can start with, we can just first copy all the information we have, then we can play with it. So these are the original coordinates of the triangle. Then we have the scale factor s -3. Then we have B. B is the center of enlargement, which is 2, 0. You are given. Then to get the new coordinates, the coordinates of the new enlarged triangle, where we were saying now enlarged, then B enlarged, and then C enlarged. We'll have to apply this formula for all x's, where we have a. For now, for x coordinates, we have a, where a is the first value in the center of enlargement, and in our case it will be 2, then plus k, where k is this scale factor, into x, where this x is the coordinate of the x, these ones, that one, and this one, but we go on each at a time, then minus a, of course, which this a is 2. And then we go for the ones for y, there will be b, where b is the second value of the center of enlargement, then plus k, where k is the scale factor, into y, where y now these coordinates here. We do one at a time, and then minus b, where b is this value here, the second one in the center of enlargement. So we can apply this formula and get the new coordinates of the triangle, of the enlarged triangle. So the first one for a, then it will be, we already know our a here, this small a is 2, so it will be 2 plus, we know our scale factor is -3, this one, then into x, but we know our x in there is 1, so 1 minus, again this a, but we already know our a is 2. So now it becomes, when we open brackets here, it is 2 minus 3. Then 1 minus 2 is -1. So again, multiplied by -1, it becomes negative multiplied by this negative, it will be positive. So it will be 2 plus 3, which is 5. So that becomes the first x coordinate in here there. Then we go for y coordinate, where we have b, but we already know our b from here is 0. So plus our scale factor we already know is -3. So into y, but we already know our y here is 1. Then minus b, and we already know our b is 0. So 0, which will be now 0 minus 3, because when I open brackets here, negative by positive, it will be negative. Now into 1 minus 0 is 1, so it becomes 0 minus 3, which is -3, and that becomes the coordinate for y in here. So we repeat the same from b, where we have x is 3, so we apply it here, and we say now then x will be here, and we already know here is 2. Plus scale factor is -3, so in brackets we already know b here is 3, and now minus a, but we already know our here is 2 from there. So it becomes 2 minus 3, this 1, I open the brackets, then 3 minus 2 is 1. So in brackets here 1, so it becomes 2 minus 3 by 1 is just 3, so 2 minus 3 is just -1. So it becomes -1, and then we go to the second one from B, where we have 1 here for y. Of course we have 1, and because our y b is 0, So we have 0 plus, of course, our negative scale factor, negative 3 into y is 1. So minus our b, which is 0. So it becomes 0, open brackets here, it becomes negative 3, because 0 minus negative 3 is just negative 3 into 1 minus 0 is just 1. So it becomes negative 3 multiplied by 1 is just negative 3. So it becomes negative 3. And then we go to C, where we have, we go to C, where we have here, our original here, of course, is 2 plus, we have our negative scale factor, which is negative 3 into our x here is 1, and now minus a, and our head is 2, so it becomes 2 minus 3 when I open the brackets here into 1 minus 2 is negative 1, so it becomes negative 1 multiplied by negative 3 is positive 3, so 2 plus 3, which is 5. So 2, 5 there, and then the last one is from B, where we have 4, and then for y where we have 4, so this b, we know it's 0 plus our scale factor, which is negative 3 into y, that y is 4 from here, then minus our b, which is 0, so it becomes 0 minus 3, this one when I open brackets, into 4 minus 0, which is still 4. So now it becomes 0 minus 3 is just negative 3. Of course, automatically it will be negative 12. So it becomes negative 12 there. Now we have the coordinates of the enlarged triangle. So C, we have the coordinates, we have answered it. So we can now go to B. It says plot the center of enlargement, and the center of enlargement is to 0. So when I come to my graph here on green, I can set the center of enlargement to 0. So it will be 2, 0, somewhere there. That is the center of enlargement. And then we can plot first the original triangle as we are told, and then we can plot the enlarged one, and we see how it behaves. So we can start with 1, 1, the original one, and S1, 1. So 1 was somewhere there, and then it had 3, 1, the 1 from B, and then it also had C, which was 1, 4. 1 and 4, somewhere there, and that becomes our original triangle. But we also have the coordinates of the enlarged one, which is 5, negative 3, so we can plot it. 5, negative 3, it will be 5, then negative 3, which is somewhere there, and then go again to second one, which is negative 1, negative 3. We have negative 1 somewhere here, and negative 3 somewhere there, and then we have the last one is 5, negative 12. So we have 5, negative 12 somewhere here. And as you can see, that triangle is very much bigger than the original one, because the enlargement scale factor was an integer, though it was negative. So that's why the triangle is also flipped and downward to fit on the negative scale. So that's how we enlarge fingers on the using a negative scale factor. If you have any question, if there is a place you did not understand, you can ask me in the comment section. I try to answer to my level best. And bye for now. Let us meet in the next lesson.